What's cracking, everybody? You're back with Mr. Berger. Tonight we're taking a look at this Royal Hogs Barbarians split push deck. Now this is kind of like a control style deck. It is a little bit fast paced, it is kind of cheap, so there are elements of cycle to it, but you don't have any of those classic cycle cards in there other than arguably like the bats or the light spell like your giant Snowball. So this was a deck that I found actually on CWA. It's also been really popular if you check it on Royale API. It's definitely a prevalent deck in the current meta. We're starting the match off here, starting the video off here with this match that's actually a mirror matchup. So it gives you a good taste of, the deck going against itself and, just kind of getting it from both perspectives. And then of course we're going to be going up against some other decks, seeing how well it does against other decks. Now I've been using this deck in the current tournament, the global tournaments, and it's been working out pretty well for me. Now the global tournaments, I find them to be a little bit easier than like challenges and stuff. I can generally get a few more wins, so we're going to be watching some replays, and if we have time here, maybe I'll squeeze in a live match or two at the end of the video here. Alright guys, so this is in theory a split push deck. You do have a lot of units, you got a lot of cards that have the potential to be split to both lanes and push both lanes at once. So if you're looking at those cards specifically, you've got the bats, you got the Goblin Gang, you got the Barbarians, you got the Royal Hogs. Now obviously that doesn't include your two spells, which are not true cards which can be split, and then the Flying Machine and the Bandit can be put to support one of the two lanes, while all those other cards are being split. Now, you can also consider it kind of like a single lane deck if you want to play it that way. You can always do things like play the Goblin Gang, for example, at the bridge, or in the back by itself, although that's not usually recommended because it can get, logged down right away. But as far as like, the Bandit and pushing with the Royal Hogs, or, deciding if you want to split your bats or not, things like that, you don't always have to send the Royal Hogs in as a split push in the center there. You can do like you see here and send them down one lane. Now that wasn't a great usage of them, honestly, in that particular, example. As you saw, they got plowed down there by the Barbarians doing their job, but they were able to defend during their problem with the Flying Machine and the Goblin Gang and all that. So, yes guys, it is a split push deck. It does have a lot of split push potential, but it can also be played down a single lane if you're trying to focus particularly on. Now, there's a lot of control elements in this deck. You can kind of play it, think of it as a spell bait deck too. There's definitely an element of spell bait to it, but we're going to talk about that a little bit more, not right now, but in the future. Anyway, what I want to focus on right now is the playstyle of this deck. You can kind of defend and counter push. You'll see me doing things like cycling cards in the back there. That's kind of just to, get the ball rolling and not leak any elixir. You can be a little bit aggressive and do things like place the Goblin Gang at the bridge, or place the Bandit at the bridge, but generally you're going to be defending and then going in for a counter push. That being said, as I mentioned earlier on in the video, it is a relatively fast deck, so you can also play it a little bit more aggressively than most control decks. You don't have anything really heavy hitting here, like a P.E.K.K.A, but you do have Barbarians, Goblin Gang, Bats, Flying Machine, Bandit, all these things that can be used really well on defense. And then you got the Royal Hogs to go in for a deadly counter. So especially with Barbarians, those things are just a powerhouse right now. With that buff, they're doing really well on defense, and then they provide, a deadly counter push threat. Of course, if your opponent doesn't answer them, and generally they're going to be able to answer them most because they're pretty easy cards to answer. But you do have that element of spell bait, as I mentioned. So with it being a control deck, it's slightly faster, so reminiscent of a cycle deck, you've also got this element of spell bait. And again, really quickly guys, the reason that I don't really consider the cycle deck, you don't have an Ice Spirit, you don't have an Ice Golem, you do have Bats, you do have Snowball, but you don't have all those really cheap classic cards to make it like a 2.6. So it's not super fast like a cycle deck, but it's definitely not a really heavy down deck, like a 4.5 support deck or something. Alright guys, let's jump on into another replay here, and then I want to focus on specifically that element of spell bait that I was talking about. Ironically, I'm actually going up against a log bait deck. I think this is the classic log bait deck that I'm going up against here. Anyway guys, we do definitely have a strong element of spell bait. When I talk about spell bait, I'm talking about two different kinds in this deck. Mainly, you've got medium or mid-range spell bait. That being, you know, obviously Fireball and Poison. I think those are the only two real medium spells. Depending on where you put things like arrows, or obviously things like Freeze, they're medium cost. You know, Freeze and Clone, they're not 2 cost elixir spells, or 2 elixir cost spells, but they're not damaging spells. So when I say medium spells, I particularly mean Fireball and Poison. Now you can also consider the heavier spells like Lightning and Rocket to kind of be baitable in this deck, particularly maybe the Rocket a little bit more. But you know, you don't have too much, you know, other than the Barbarians, you're not gonna have any Lightning Rod kind of cards. I don't know, it's just nothing that you particularly want to worry about with this deck. You know, other than, you know, maybe making sure that they don't clip your Flying Machine or something like that. Lightning is not something to worry about too much. But I'm blathering on here about the heavy spells, and I really want to focus on the medium spells here. So you want to bait out their Fireball, you want to bait out their Poison, whatever they've got. Figure out what they've got, and then use it to your advantage. You know, use your Barbarians on defense. You'll see that they'll use their Poison every time in your Barbarians. That's when you can sendly, when you can safely send in your Hogs, your Royal Hogs, and they can definitely do work, because they won't have the Poison or the Fireball to counter them. And I know that Royal Hogs aren't super meta, and they were for a while, but they haven't been a card that's been, first of all, it hasn't been around for too long, and secondly, they haven't been meta very often. So if you don't know too much about them, they can be almost completely shut down with just a Fireball. I think like a Fireball plus Log, or a Fireball plus any little support will pretty much shut them down completely, denying all damage onto a tower. So they're pretty easy to counter. And if your opponent has a Fireball, they're just cake. So you want to bait out that Fireball. Poison is not as much of a threat, but it is definitely a big area of effect in your spell, so it definitely affects all of your Hogs more than it would like a Hog Rider, because it's damaging 4 units all at once, rather than only that one instance of damage being done to one single unit. You got 4 times the amount of damage being done because it's spread throughout those 4 Hogs equally. You know, each part being seen due to just that one Hog Rider. So these guys are a lot more susceptible to those medium spells, just for sure. And even if they use their spell on like your Royal Hogs, take advantage of it by placing like your Flying Machine or placing your Barbarian safely on defense. You don't have to worry about them blasting your Flying Machine out of the sky with Fireball, which is going to go to lose, because they've already wasted their Fireball on, say, Royal Hogs, or maybe on your Barbarians. Now there's also kind of an element of light spell bait here, and I'm going to talk about how the Snowball is really meta right now, but that's kind of relevant right now, honestly, about what I want to talk about here, because when you were going up against only Zap and Log as your light spells, it gave room for decks like Log Bait to really shine. Barbarian Barrel initially started at 3 elixir, so I consider it slightly different than, you know, Zap or Log. It's not really a light spell, it's more of a, you know, pseudo-medium light spell, kind of like arrows. Then they brought it down to 2 elixir, and of course the giant Snowball, of course, it was 2 elixir already. So now all of a sudden we've got 4 light spells in the game, and they weren't viewable at first, but they finally buffed Giant Snowball and they buffed Barbarian Barrel enough for them to be viewable. And of course they're nerfing Barbarian Barrel because it was so strong for a while. So all of a sudden the meta shifts, you don't see as much Log Bait and things like that. So now we're in a meta where Snowball, ironically, is like the most popular light spell card. And you got 4 different options. It was Log for the longest time, and then it was Zap like forever, for the longest time. And then there was Barbarian Barrel for a good chunk of time. And now it looks like, with all the nerfs that Barbarian Barrel's been getting left and right, it looks like Giant Snowball, honestly, is the one that's taking the cup here, and is just, you know, prevailing as the victor. You know, the Giant Snowball is really common, it's in a lot of different decks now. And you've got that element of light spell bait. Generally, you're going to be looking out for the Zap, but in the current meta, you're going to be looking out for the Giant Snowball as well. And you got 2 cards here that you're going to be worrying about, or that you're going to be using for that light spell bait. That's going to be the Bats, and that's going to be the Goblin Gang. So generally, what you want to be doing, ideally, is baiting out their Zap or their Giant Snowball with your Bats, because it's only a 2 elixir cost spell. That makes it an equal elixir trade for you. Whereas if you're baiting it out with your Goblin Gang, then they're going to be getting a positive elixir trade, essentially. Now on top of all of this, occasionally you're going to be seeing them doing things like using their light spell, their zap, or their log, or their giant snowball on, like, say, your barbarians, or even your Royal Hogs. Especially if you're running up against a log bait, or excuse me, a log deck, you know, that runs log in their deck is what I'm trying to say, then you're going to be seeing them using like log or log plus fireball a lot, just to counter your Royal Hogs, because it's pretty effective if you think about it. It's only 2 elixir cost, it rolls down, it pushes all of them back, buying you some time, and that's kind of the theme of that card, is to run in quickly, do damage to the tower, right? So buying you some time and pushing them back is really beneficial. And again, there's 4 of those little piglets instead of just 1 hog rider. So that log essentially does 4 times the amount of overall damage, you know, because it does that same amount to each individual target. So you're going to be seeing them using their light spells on all kinds of things. Again, mainly, most importantly, you're going to be looking out for the bats and the Goblin Gang, but you'll also be seeing them do things like log or snowball your Royal Hogs or your Barbarians. They may occasionally even log, say, like, your Bandit, and on occasion they may even do something like use their light spell, like their giant snowball, particularly on your flying machine, because it does knock it back, it does a good chunk of damage, it slows it, so it can actually be used pretty well to counter things like flying machine, wizard, musketeer, you know, most mid-range support at the bridge. So let's say that, like, instead of a witch here, he had a musketeer coming down, and I had a giant snowball in my hand. I could snowball it there, push it back, and essentially, if I'm not mistaken, completely shut it down without allowing it to be damaged. I know it works for certain cards. Don't quote me on the musketeer, but it works for certain So definitely a lot of spell bait in this deck, guys, all around. You got mid-range spell bait, you got light spell bait, it's all over the place. So the Snowball is super meta right now. I really like this card. I'm glad that they made it meta. I'm glad that it's in these decks. I'm seeing it all over the place. It's a lot of fun to play with. It takes a little bit of getting used to. It's just like the Tornado. When the Tornado first came out, I was just like, guys, this card is OP. Like, and I was not that great of a player back then. I'm still not that great of a player, but I was much less experienced back then. And I just remember thinking, like, this sounds really strong. And I remember seeing my clanmate do something like, what was it, like, pull a hog into the center and also activate the King Tower for the first time. And I was just like, that's gotta be a game changer, right? Like, doesn't that, when I saw somebody activate the King Tower for the first time, that's crazy. Like, I already knew what it did, but it was just an amazing concept to see somebody do that right away. So what I'm getting at here with that is, you've got this new card that's in the meta that wasn't there for a long time, that is the Giant Snowball, and it's got kind of a similar, you know, potential, I guess, to do something, not exactly the same, but something relatively similar. It can't pull units into the center, it can't pull units into it, but it knocks units back. So it can actually be used to push like a miner into the King Tower, if it's placed close enough, obviously. If it's in the safe spot or in a lot of different spots, then you don't have to worry about it. But if he were to send in a miner, like kind of in the bottom left corner of my right tower, the bottom right corner of my left tower, then I could essentially Giant Snowball right on my Princess Tower, knock that miner right into my King Tower, making that miner attack my tower, thus activating it. So it just kind of opens up the door for a lot of new fun interactions. You can use it like a zap. You can use it to counter a Goblin Barrel. I don't think it completely shuts it down. Maybe with timing it does. I know with a little bit of extra support it does too. But it pushes all those goblins back. It deals damage to them so that they get one shot from your Princess Tower. And it also slows them so that it takes them longer to flip back. You know, it counters mid-range support units like I was talking about. It's great for sending it in with your Royal Hogs or whatever your offensive win condition is and supporting them because it clears out swarm cards like Skeleton Army, Bats. It buys you time with things like Minions and Minion Horde if you've got, say, like a Ram Rider or something like that, because it'll push them out of the range. It's just great. Yeah, Ram Rider pairs really well with that because it'll bring them all to low health and then the Ram Rider feature. It's just a really good card. In theory, it had a lot of potential when it first came out, but it just was lackluster because the damage was so low and the like slow effect and everything wasn't that great. So the log and the Barbarian Barrel and the Zap pretty much just outshined it. So now it's all over the place. I love this card. It's a whole ton of fun to play with, but it does take a little bit of getting used to, just like the Tornado did when it first came out. You can do things like knock the princess into your princess tower's range or to get to the bridge, and shut it down for only 2 clicks. So it's got, you know, a lot of potential, a lot of different things you do, but you need to learn those interactions, you need to learn how to answer it. Sorry for that fucking there, if you guys heard that, that was my dog in the background. Keep on. Alright, so guys, enough mumbling, or excuse me, rambling on about the Snowball there. It's a great card. Flying Machine 2, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Huge, powerful card, a whole lot of fun to play with. It is underrated, and it has the potential to stay alive for a long time. Snipe things from afar. It has a spell bait element to it. It's just a great card element. And the barbs, they naturally fit in there just due to the recent buff. Normally you wouldn't be seeing that card in a deck like this, or if you really decks at all. But due to that buff, you know, making it so that there's 5 of them now, even though they got that nerf to their stats, they're still really strong and really beatable in the current meta, especially in these kind of mid-range spell-based style things. Alright guys, let's wrap this replay up here. And you know what? Why not? We got a little bit of time left on that global tournament. Let's see if I can do a live match or 2 here. Probably get stomped, and I'll wrap the video up with that. Alright guys, as usual, I am playing on my main account here on my phone, and we're going to be spectating from my alt account here on the computer. Alright, this guy is opening up with a battle ram, so we're going to go ahead and Goblin Gang that to counter it. Ooh, it connects there. That's not good for me, but it's not the end of the world. He'll get a little bit of damage there. I know that he's got Zap now. You know, I probably could have done a better job of countering that. I was blathering on at the beginning there, talking about, you know, playing on my main account on my phone and not focusing on the game here. So let's go ahead and get our head into the game here. Now the benefit of split pushing there, yeah, he used the Peck on the left, and it is a big threat, but at least I get some chip damage on the right there. So although the P.E.K.K.A, you know, stays alive, you know, I got some good damage on the right there, and then I got the Barbarians here. Ooh, bad placement, I got them up there. But honestly, the Barbarians, they're tanky enough. It's not like a skeleton army that's going to instantly get, you know, melted by the poison or anything like that. So they do a pretty good job of staying alive there, having that element of slightly more tankiness, kind of like the, the guards. And he was probably expecting that Goblin Gang, yeah he was, but this time I'm able to shut it down. I'm going to do an unorthodox placement of the Bandit there just because I want to make sure to counter all of that. I know that you want to try to get that charge with her, but it's not going to work out there. Okay, we're going to Bats here, and we're going to go ahead and actually, yeah, let's giant Snowball that. And then we're going to Barbarians. There we go. Great use of the giant Snowball and the barb there. Came in clutch just in time. That was really good for me. He's got Royal Ghost, so I need to watch out for that thing. It does splash damage, which is a huge, how should I say, this is kind of like a good counter element or benefit to have in this deck, or against this deck, excuse me. Because you got a lot of kind of swarmy cards, you know, the Barbarians and the Bats and this and that, you know, so cards with splash damage actually counter this deck really well. So if you're going up against Mega Knight decks, well, I cherry-picked a few replays, as you guys saw earlier, where I beat a couple Mega Knight decks, but honestly, with more competent deck going up against a better player than I am, I would probably get countered by Mega Knight decks. Again, it's all situational. The situation, the particular deck, a million different factors. But just the beauty of it, there's a lot of splash damage. Alright, we got the giant Snowball there on defense. We're going to use these here. Let's Barbarians on top of the battle here. Then I won't have to worry about the poison. Alright, we're going to go hard on the right here. Yeah, he invested 7 elixir on the left there with the P.E.K.K.A, so I can pretty safely sit in this Royal Hogs. I got the Snowball on hand if I need to use it. I'm not going to worry about it. Honestly, look at the Barbarians there on the left. They brought that P.E.K.K.A down to below half health, so not bad at all. Alright, we're going to maybe giant Snowball that Battle Ram. Yeah, it's going to connect here, but it doesn't get the full charge damage because I'm not back with the Snowball. I know that was kind of funky. We're not going to get too cocky here. Let's do it now though, because we got enough. Let's send in the Royal Hogs with the poison. If I can get just a little bit of chip damage with Royal Hogs, that'll be good. Then I just need like 1 more poison, I think. So what I need to do here is make sure that I don't lose that left tower. And obviously I need to defend against this P.E.K.K.A. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and Bandit to the left here. Alright, that was really good. I'm gonna defend the P.E.K.K.A because the left is fine here. And I just need to poison now. Now I gotta do something about that left, so I'm gonna go ahead and Goblin Gang just to make sure. Oh my goodness, 15 HP. Gosh, that was so close, guys. Look at how close that was. Oh, you didn't see it, but I gave him a good game. He gave me a good game back. I guess it doesn't show up on the replays all the way. But anyway, that was an awesome match there. What happened, and yeah, I mean, I know it was a terrible loss on my part, but I'm going to include it in the video anyway because I want to talk about what happened there. Is I got so close to I saw how close his tower was, and I like fully invested. Well, I was even, you heard me, I was thinking about, okay, play defense, don't go full on the tower. But I poisoned early, and I didn't have enough elixir to properly defend that Royal Ghost on the left there. So I should have been a little bit more safe and not invested so much elixir. Maybe not done that last poison so early. But anyway, it makes for an awesome replay. Looking back at what I did wrong and talking about it. Let's see if I can get one more win. We'll jump into one last one here. Alright guys, I'll try not to get sidetracked here with talking about anything too off topic. So let's go ahead and just focus on the match here and talk about my decision making. So we're going to start with kind of a split push with the bats. I was thinking about split pushing the hogs, but I don't want to reveal my win condition too soon. So we're going to go ahead and do flying machine here in the back instead. We're going to cycle that. I'm going to go ahead and let's just bandit at the bridge here to try to support that flying machine a little bit. Looks like, yeah, okay, that doesn't work out too well. But it's all good. I needed to invest elixir in something. Let's go ahead and go with the Royal Hogs on the left here, just because I don't want to leak too much elixir. And maybe I can get a little bit of chip damage off the tower. There's the log, so I don't have to worry about the log. It looks like I distract that knight just in time before it connects to the tower. Not the end of the world if the knight connects to the tower, but it will get a good chunk of damage. Now the old knight, on the other hand, before it got nerfed a million times, would just do so much damage to my tower. My OG players know what I'm talking about. Oh man, that old knight before it got nerfed was it hit like a truck. Oh dude, I miss it. That's why knight was my favorite card. Alright, he's gonna he's gonna fireball my flying machine, which is what I was talking about with that element of spell bait. So I can safely put the barbarians down now. We're gonna try to take advantage of that. And then probably send in the Royal Hogs. We're going to send them on the right here, but kind of in the center. Oh no, I missed the poison. I meant to poison this tower too. That was too bad. Look at how well he shut that down with the log and everything. Definitely taking advantage of the, yeah, I know, definitely, oops, right? Taking advantage of the area of effect damage of his spells there. You know, definitely countering all my units that were clumped up there. You know, the barbarians and the Royal Hogs. Probably wasn't a good idea to put them all together, quite honestly. You know, looking back in hindsight. But maybe I can keep that in mind and try not to make that same mistake again. We're just going to go ahead and keep splitting and cycling cards in the back. There he goes with the flying machine counter. And let's go ahead and split Goblin Gang in the back here. We're really going to go for a split push here. Let's go ahead and, I mean, that's 4 elixir right there. The skeletons plus the archers doesn't equal trade. Plus it gets some chip damage on his tower, so I'm going to do that poison just to kind of cycle that out and do a little bit of chip damage there. I'm going to fly machine further up this time so that he doesn't just fireball it like he's been doing. He's got an expo, what? Okay, cool. I guess he didn't want to let me know that it was an expo deck until the very end here. So we're going to go ahead and go all in here. We have this with poison there. And, oh, I was hoping Bandit would get a dash there, but she does not. Flying machine does get a lock onto the tower. Plus the poison damages those archers a little bit. We're going giant snowball just to finish them off. And we're going to go ahead and Royal Hogs here. And I'm expecting like a fireball or something right now to counter the Royal Hogs. Yep, there it is. Fireball plus knight to counter the Royal Hogs. So I can safely put down the barbarians, or relatively safely put them down. I do have to worry about the log. There it is. Now I can put down, oh man, he's got fire spirits too. And by the time he gets back, he gets done with one, he's going to have the fireball on the log back soon, right? So let's see if I can get some value here. Poison value against those archers, finishing off the knight, chipping away at the tower there. Not bad. Let's cycle in the back. We're going to barbarians right up front here. Ooh, he gets locked onto my tower. That's not good for me. Let's see. There's the log. And Bandit here to charge onto that. And let's go ahead and poison here. Alright, there goes his expo, so that's good for me. I really gotta watch out for the expo. I gotta play a little bit more defensively, I think. Make sure that I have like the barbarians or something like that to counter it and answer it every time. Alright, let's Flying Machine up here. And maybe I can get a little bit aggressive with the Royal Hogs. I don't want to invest too much elixir. Yeah, he used log and there was like fire spirits there. So he still has fireball. So I gotta keep that in mind. Honestly, I'm ready to start poison cycling because more poison will finish that thing off. Alright, there's the Expo. So let's go ahead and put down the Barbarians. I got the Flying Machine in the back there. Bandit is actually going to dash in and counter that log, or dash through that log. Ooh, Bandit connects to the tower despite the knight there. Gonna get good chip damage here with the poison. Flying Machine may be enough to finish it off. Sending in the Royal Hogs, that was actually not a very good move. But what I need to do at this point really is just play it super safe. So I'm going to use the Barbarians here because I know he's got an Expo coming up. And just cycle cheap cards, but also not completely waste them. Because what I'm really doing is just cycling back to that poison, cycling back to that poison, cycling back to that poison. There goes the poison, here goes the giant snowball just to get a little bit of extra chip damage. Alright, there we go. We're having a good game. Whew! That was a close one, guys. Oh man, what great match to finish off the video there. I was not expecting that Expo at the end there. But I tell you what, that's exactly what an Expo player wants, right? Let me get my 2,000 gold here. That was only my 5th win. This tournament ends in like an hour and a half. Maybe I'll finish it up here. But I think that is good for tonight for the video. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. You can hit the burger down there in the very bottom right hand corner. Or, you know, there's a million other ways to subscribe. If you're on YouTube, you probably know how to do it. Anyway, guys, of course, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave it a thumbs up and a comment in the comment section below. And if you made it this far, you're awesome. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and have a good night.